Welcome, my dear children. Thank you for your time and for following this program as usual. I'm here for our lesson, social studies, lesson 7. Yesterday we were looking at the achievements, the problems, the failures of OAU, and we concluded that. I'm sure you now appreciate where Africa came from and where we are right now. Today I want us to look at the formation of AU, that is the African Union. I want to tell you that the African Union is the successor of the OAU, the Organization of African Unity. In other words, the Organization of African Unity is the predecessor of the African Union. So I want us to briefly look at that, and if time allows, we shall look at some other pieces of work down there. We are saying important things to note about the African Union. We are saying the idea of transforming the Organization of African Unity into the African Union was brought by the African leader by then, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. He was the president of Libya by then. That is point number one to note. He is the man that brought the idea of having the Organization of African Unity transformed into another stronger body, which came to be known as the African Union. Why? We realized that African Union, in one way or the other, had attained the mandate. To some extent, it had eliminated colonialism. Most of the African countries had gotten independence. So you realize it was better and good to come up with another new organization that could help Africa better. We're also saying another point to note is that the idea of African Union was accepted by most African leaders, and 9th July 2002, it was launched in Durban, South Africa. So the launching, when we talk of launch, we are meaning the organization to kick off and start its work, serving the Africans. We are saying that was on 9th July 2002, and it took place in Durban, the town of South Africa. So that's where it was launched, and the president of South Africa by then became the first chairman of the African Union, who was Simon Mbeki by then. We are saying the African Union maintained the headquarters of the former Organization of African Unity. It did not change. So Addis Ababa still remains the city with the headquarters of the African Union. Those are areas I feel we should take note of. Now, I want us to look at objectives of the African Union. Why was it brought into existence? What was the reason for having the African Union into existence? So we look at reasons, objectives of AU. Objectives of AU. We are saying AU is African Union. African Union, not African Unity, but African Union. Objective number one, why this organization was brought into existence: to promote peace. Promote peace among member states. When we talk of peace, we are meaning absence of violence, absence of war. We realized by the time the organization came into existence and the OAU was being phased out, there were so many countries suffering with wars, violence, and refugee problem was at its highest. So it needed another organization so stronger than the former to be able to tackle the issue of violence that was eating up the African countries. Point number 2, promote political stability. Point number 2, to promote political stability among member states. Promote political stability among member states. When we talk of stability, we are meaning the area of politics. Political decisions favoring member states, favoring citizens, that will not result into wars. So politically, we are looking at countries being stable, having leadership that has the approval of all the citizens. Point next, we are saying to promote democratic governance among member states. So this is another mandate of AU, to promote good governance democratic governance. Let's put it this way. Promote democratic governance. Democratic governance among member states. Among member states. In other words, to ensure the principles of democracy being followed by member states. Another reason why AU, objective as to why AU came into existence, was to promote human rights among member states. Promote human rights among member states. We are talking of the aspect of observing the basics of life. Freedoms, basic freedoms, liberty to life, freedoms to food. Such kind of rights. The AU came into existence to ensure that African people in their respective countries, their rights and freedoms are observed by their leaders. So it is one of the mandates, one of the responsibilities of the Organization of African Unity. We are also saying the AU came into existence to coordinate socio-economic activities in member states. To coordinate It is supposed to coordinate the socio-economic activities in the member states. So those are some of the reasons why the AU is in existence as opposed to OAU. I want to give you some organs of the AU, and when we meet in the next lesson, we shall discuss or talk about them in details. We'll talk about them in details, but still I would want to urge you, to encourage you to go ahead and read about them on your own, so that when that time comes, it will not be news to you. Organs of AU. organs, area. We have one, the assembly of the union. The assembly of the union. It is the first organ of the organization, and it majorly consists of heads of states, of member states. We have the Executive Council of the Union next. The Executive Council. Executive Council. Executive Council of the Union. The Executive Council of the Union majorly includes, or it consists of ministers of foreign affairs of member states. They are the ones that make up that body. We have the Pan-African Parliament next. The Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Parliament, and it consists of representatives elected from member states to go and represent citizens of their countries on that body, on that forum. So it is a forum where issues of African peoples in their respective countries are discussed. Permanent Representatives Committee, the Permanent Representatives Committee. It is a body or committee that is an organ made up of permanent members elected from member states. We have the Peace and Security Council. The Peace and Security. The Peace and Security Council. The Peace and Security Council is majorly the organ in charge with the responsibility of attending security matters in member states. In the case of war, in the case of violence, in the case of any political threat in a member state, this organ is supposed to come in and provide the solution. We have the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council. We have the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council, responsible for the socio-economic affairs of the African people. And then lastly, we have the African Court of Justice. 8. African Court of Justice. So it is the body, or rather the organ, responsible for attending to or promoting human rights. It is charged with human rights issues, attending to human rights affairs, in member states. In the case of any violation of human rights in any member state, this organ is supposed to come in and provide redress to such. Today, I feel that's enough for us. I want to encourage you to go ahead and read about these organs, and when we meet next time, we shall have much to say. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for following. Stay safe. We'll meet next time. Thank you.